Trump, you are kingdom, must come down. Trump, you are kingdom, must come down. Oh, I heard the voice of the people say, Trump, you are kingdom, must come down. Idiots.
Happy Friday, also known here in DC as the No Kings Day protest. Everyone will be glad to know that I haven't encountered any kings here in my time in DC here in the swamp.
Anyone that is supporting rioting and violence, it lets you go after the money. And I'll tell you, there are more than 200 left-wing groups behind these No Kings rallies this weekend. They deliberately are blind to what each of the others are doing. That's part of how they avoid accountability.
Communists are running the No Kings rally. We all knew that, but now it's official. They have a list of all their sponsors, and a bunch of people in Congress are calling this out. Mark Wayne Mullen, a senator, said the No Kings anti-Trump rally is literally sponsored, by the Communist Party of America. Yeah, it's true. Here, they posted this. No Kings, October 18th, 11 a.m. at this location. Look at all these people who are sponsoring this thing, and what you'll notice is something like this right here. Young Communist League. Oh, of New York, the communists are out. Yeah, here's another one you can see over here. CPUSA. Oh, the Communist Party of the United States. Yeah, they're communists. And all of these other things are basically communism, okay? You can see stuff like anytime somebody says that they're a socialist, like this one, New York Democrats Socialist of America. That's a communist. They're just trying to change their label. No different than a dude who says he's a woman or whatever. We know you're a communist, okay? We can see it dangling between your legs. So, strong economy for all. Rise and resist. New York Communities for Change. Vocal Action Fund. They're all communists. And they're going to be rallying in favor of anti-American causes. Congressman Brandon Gill calling it out too. He says it's literally sponsored by the commies. You can see it. And CNN is explaining what to expect. They said, here's what to know. More than 2,500 demonstrations are going to be happening. 50 states, and they're even going over to the UK, apparently. So if you go over to their little dumb website, which is very dumb, as we're going to see, they've also got No Kings protests in places that actually have kings, like the UK, right? Yeah. So no kings in London. See, that seems appropriate since they actually have kings here. We don't have kings. We just had an election. So I don't even know what they're talking about. But it's happening all over America. All these dorks are going to be getting together to talk about, I don't know, whatever. And the people who are funding it, George Soros, helping to fund these protests nationwide. Ted Cruz was also talking about it, saying that his foundations are dumping a lot of money into this. Tens of thousands of protesters, all probably getting paid. Soros, a billionaire investor and notorious Democrat Party donor, founder of Open Society, and this company called Indivisible, they got granted $3 million to support social welfare activities. All that money should just be banned. You know, if it's foreign money and coming through all these like nonprofit scam, 501c3s, giving the money over to the 501c4s, all the normizing, democracy, state democracy defenders fund and all these things, they're criminal operations. They're trying to propagandize us, declaring that they're nonprofits and abusing our system. And so our stupid Congress people should fix this and solve this immediately. But if they won't do it, well, then the FBI, Cash, and Pam can all start finding out these networks and finding where the frauds are happening, where they're reporting that this is for this, we're spending our money on this. No, you're not. We know what you're doing. So hopefully all this money is backtraced all the way up to the actual progenitors of it all, and we can get to the bottom of who is funding this type of garbage. Andy No, the Antifa whisperer, says our lives depend on everyone becoming the enemy within. Here are some of the documents that they're sharing right now. These little violent revolutionary communists is what they are. They can call themselves whatever they want. Here, PNW anarchists and anti-fascist, October 8th. The No Kings March is meant to pacify the people. It's organized by feds with an interest in quelling meaningful and effective uprising. F their lib march. Let's show them what fascism, anti-fascism really looks like. Yeah, that's interesting. So this is actually to calm everybody down. See what happens. Someone else posted this. Join us. Become ungovernable. Andy Knows reporting. In an anti-authoritarian and anti-capitalist bloc at the 1018 Minneapolis No Kings protest. Become ungovernable. Bring all your friends, lit, noisemakers, banners, and anything else with the skeleton and a pink mask on. Someone else. October 18th. Increase the tension. That's happening in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. And here's another one talking about the enemy within. Our lives depend on everyone becoming the enemy within. Okay, so that's from Andy No, just a smattering of those. He's posting here. They've been posting flyers all around the ICE facility in Portland, calling their violent militants to embed themselves in the No Kings protest and to agitate for violence. Liberals and leftists on Reddit are calling it fake right-wingers, like the laser show event that was organized in Rose City. So they just blame the right-wingers, right? Antifa shows up, they cause a ruckus, they say these are right-wingers, just like they did on January 6th. And so a lot of that's going to be happening, no doubt, over the weekend. But they're also not that bright. Apparently, on their website that I just shared with you, our friend Maze Moore over on X, he said you can go over there and they have their chants. So if you want to participate in a chant and you want to get your dorks together and like practice it it the night before. They got a script for you. You can just read through it. Unfortunately, their grammar's a little off. You can see that he clipped this Maze Moore, and then our friend Mike Benz drew some very convenient red boxes for us. If you want to sing along, you can also be incorrect. Trump, you are kingdom, must come down. Trump, you are kingdom, must come down. Oh, I heard the voice of the people say, Trump, you are kingdom, must come down. Idiots. So they just keep doing it. I think the teachers unions are supporting this stupid cause. Morons. All right, so that's them. Here, Anna Paulina Luna said, the real No King's Day was on July 4th, 1776. Okay, we've already had this conversation. Just because you don't like the duly elected president doesn't mean you get to have a hissy fit about it, but they are. Rick Scott says, No King's protest is sponsored by multiple commies. This is who Senator Schumer is cowering to and shutting down your government to appease. It's disgusting. And if Chuck Schumer attends this protest, it will be his full endorsement of communism in America. Yeah, and let's see who shows up there and why they like commies. Harmeet Dillon over from the Trump administration made a video about it. She said, Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Harmeet. No King's protest today through the weekend, so stay safe out there. We're always hard at work at the Civil Rights Division to uphold your rights to peaceful protest. Here is what she had to say.
Happy Friday, also known here in DC as the No King's Day protest. Everyone will be glad to know that I haven't encountered any kings here in my time working in DC here in the swamp. I have encountered a lot of really hardworking American patriots who are working hard to bring sanity and justice back at the DOJ. Proud to be part of that team, and I hope everyone stays safe from crazy Marxists who have organized this protest today. First Amendment is very important. We believe in that, and I hope everyone stays safe out there.
Nice message from Harmeet Dillon. She's exactly right. There are Marxists out there. Ted Cruz was also explaining there's considerable evidence that George Soros and his network are funding these things. That's exactly why I've introduced an act, thank you, Ted, called Stop Funders Act. Let's law enforcement prosecute those who are funding political violence. Here's Ted Cruz on with Fox.
Now, I will say one of the most important things President Trump has done recently is he has pledged that he's going to go after Antifa. And what I've been urging is follow the money, cut off the money. And you look at this No Kings rally, and there's considerable evidence that George Soros and his network is behind funding these rallies, which may well be riots all across the country. And Soros is writing the check. And so I've introduced legislation called the Stop Funders Act that would add rioting to the list of predicate offenses for RICO. Why is that? Because it would let the Department of Justice use RICO, racketeering, to prosecute the money that is funding the anti-Semitic protests on campuses, the pro-open border protest in LA and other cities, and these No King protests. Anyone that is supporting rioting and violence, it lets you go after the money. And I'll tell you, there are more than 200 left-wing groups behind these No Kings rallies this weekend. They deliberately are blind to what each of the others are doing. That's part of how they avoid accountability.
Just like terror cells.
RICO is designed for precisely that sort of criminal enterprise. And so I believe the Senate, we ought to take up and vote on and pass our Stop Funders legislation. And I've urged both Pam Bondi at DOJ and Kash Patel at FBI, follow the money and prosecute those who are writing checks funding acts of violence, political violence or otherwise, across the country.
Yep, go after the money and stop these networks that have been riddled with foreign influence and other bad actors that are impacting American politics. We don't want all of that external influence. We have enough of that already. Now, Abbott in Texas prepping up the National Guard, saying that they're calling this the Hate America rally. They're very unhappy about that the Republicans are calling it. Abbott said, we're not allowing violence and destruction in Texas. Go destroy Portland. Get out of here. So we had that. We also had Mike Johnson from this morning explaining who these people ultimately are and what we'll be expecting at the protests tomorrow.
Now, tomorrow, the Democrat leaders are going to join for a big party out on the National Mall. They're going to descend on our Capitol for their much-anticipated so-called No Kings rally. We refer to it by its more accurate description, the Hate America rally, and I'm not sure how anybody can refute that. If you think about what's going to happen here tomorrow, you're going to bring together the Marxists, the socialists, the Antifa advocates, the anarchists, and the pro-Hamas wing of the far-left Democrat Party. That is the modern Democratic Party. Now, tomorrow, the Democrat...
And they're going to be out in full force tomorrow, and we'll see if anything consequential comes of it. But who will be there joining and rallying with the communists? Which Democrats will be there? Large numbers of them, and that will tell us who they are. It will expose them for their secretive ideology that they're trying to sneak into the main political discourse in their effort to conduct a slow march through the institutions to end America as we know it, which is why we're glad that you're here. Thank you for joining us as we keep tabs on all of this commie nonsense. We appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing. We'll see you back here on the next one.